Okay, once again, welcome to the Matri Satsang of Sri Anandamayi Ma, in the presence of her Paduka that she wore on her feet. Gloria will be here in a second. I think we'll have a smaller attendance this week of Christmas. Everyone's busy with their families. But I'm happy to see everyone's face here now. And let's think about what we want to do in this meeting. I always talk about how we set the sankalp, which we do in India, which means set our intention for this meeting. Anandamayi Ma was, of course, an historical character. We saw her in the flesh. She was with us in this world. But she is an eternal living spiritual force, an eternal living spiritual presence, which can be invoked. And she wasn't an enlightened person, an enlightened saint, a woman saint in enlightenment. She was the embodiment of the principle of enlightenment in this world. She was enlightenment itself. She was the constant presence of the Divine Mother, the constant presence of God in this world. And even today, when we think of her, our minds are illumined. So just thinking of Ma lifts the mind, awakens our own inner spirit. I've often said, in my experience of being with her, when she walked into the room and my eyes rested on her, I woke up. My own mind began to wake up in a way never before experienced. So in our meeting today, we're thinking of Ma, we're remembering Ma, and the very action of that brings illumination, brings awakening. So we're here to begin our awakening. She is an awakening factor. And we're here to study her words and see what she suggests for our spiritual life, for us to continue going towards her and going towards truth, going towards our own enlightenment. So we will have readings, we'll have kirtan, we'll have discussion at the end, we'll have sharing. But I always say also this, those of you who are regularly here, that we started this satsang for community also. So we don't proselytize Ma, we don't stand on the soapbox in the corner and say, have you accepted Anandamayi Ma? But we're here when Ma touches people's hearts, that we're here for these people, all of you. Because as you always say, we can't even think of Ma unless she first thinks of us. So we're all here by Ma's grace, in Ma's grace, and we're here to share together. So because of that, we always ask for patience that I want to have introductions of everyone here. So if you would make sure you turn on your video, and we'll hear, at this point, we just want to hear people's names and where they're from so we can see everyone's face. So first of all, for those who don't know, my name is Mangalananda, and I received Diksha from Ma in 1973 at her Vrindavan ashram, and I've been living in her lineage ever since with some of her great disciples. And this is my wife, Gloria.
Jema.
Who will be saying other things during this period, I hope, also. And my co-host is Pragya Hallstrom, who is the president of our board of Sri Anandamayi Ma Ashram and Temple in Massachusetts, and also the author of the book Mother of Bliss, which has become a classic in Ma's literature, and the editor of the book we'll read from, the Gospel of Sri Anandamayi Ma. So Pragya, will you say hello?
I will say hello. I will say Jema. So good to see you all. Happy holidays. It's such a blessed time of year. Today's the solstice. It's such an important day for all of us as the light is coming back. And so it's wonderful to see you and really blessed to be here.
And our other co-host, technical co-host, is Saraswati, who is also on the board of directors of the ashram and has received Diksha in Kankal into Ma's lineage. Saraswati, will you say hello?
Jema, everyone. I am Saraswati here in Freedom, Maine. So Jema. And I'm going to call on you if you could just hit mute and tell us your name and where you're from, and we'll go down the line here. We'll start with Lonnie.
Jai Ma, this is Lonnie from Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
Jai Ma, Lonnie.
Jai Ma, Lonnie, good to see you always.
Jai Ma. And Sue. Jai Ma, Sue.
Jai Ma, I'm here in Northern California. Happy winter solstice. It is pouring rain. First time joining you, so thank you.
Welcome, Sue. Welcome, Jai Ma. And we'd love to hear in our sharing time later, we'd love to hear how Ma has touched your heart. That's always a good subject to talk about.
Jai Ma. And Greg. Hello, Greg.
Jai Ma, everybody. My name is Greg, and I live in Rio Rancho, New Mexico.
Welcome, Greg.
Jai Ma.
Good to see you.
And the Herrings. Hi, the Herrings.
Hello.
David.
Hello. We are Linda and David, and we live in Williamsburg, Virginia, and that's like 50 miles southeast of Richmond, the capital. Jai Ma.
Glad to be here.
Gloria and Ramana and I will be at Yogaville in November. One way or other, we're either going to have our Semen Supta there, or I'll be there by myself, with the three of us. So hopefully we'll put that on your calendar. We'll talk about it later in mid-November.
And we were with those guys last year.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Wonderful. And Michael. Hello, Michael.
Hello, Jai Ma. Michael from Sebastopol, California. Happy solstice, everybody.
Good to see you. A wonderful artist, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
He draws pictures of Ma. Among other
Hi,
things.
Ma. And Steve. Hello, Steve.
Push
Oh, we
unmute.
can't hear you.
Yeah, bottom left of your screen, push unmute first.
Hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes.
It didn't like the space bar. Interesting. I'm Steve. I'm from Canada, just outside of Toronto. Always blessed to be here on the winter solstice. Jai Ma, everybody.
Good to see you, Steve. Jai Ma.
Jai Ma. Molly. Hello, Molly.
Hello, Gemma. Molly, I'm on Long Island. Happy solstice.
Good to see you, Molly.
Thank you.
And we'll see each other in person in India soon, next month.
How exciting. Jai Ma. And Yanaba.
Hi, Ma. I'm living in Hilo, Hawaii.
Good to see you, Yana. Jai Ma.
Yana, thank you for the lilikoi. Yana sent us Ted's favorite thing is that passion fruit jam from Hawaii, and we just received
nice.
it, and
Beautiful.
he's very happy. Thank you.
Wonderful. And that's it, Mangalanandaji.
Yeah, I can see a little smaller attendance today because of Christmas. Everyone's with their family. Very good. So we talked about the skill of tuning into Ma, because Ma is always present. Ma has called us all. So let's hone our skill of tuning into Ma at this point. We'll sing this kirtan. We always start with Om Ma Sharanam. Sharanam means a place of refuge, a place of peace, stability. So we'll sing Ma, you are our refuge. Om Ma Sharanam. And just during this kirtan and afterwards, let's just try to feel Ma's presence. Tune into her. She's here, listening to us, guiding us. So let's just tune in together with that. And I will.
And sound. Don't forget.
Thank you. I will change the sound. I think that's on now. Okay. Saraswati, Katia from Portugal, who usually sings this, is traveling and says she couldn't join us today. Om Ma Sharanam. 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 Sharanam, Om 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 Anandamayi Ma, 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 Om Sharanam, 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 let's just sit and feel Ma's presence with us now. Okay.
Sound?
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Does that say off now? I can't tell.
Do you want me to look?
Yeah, see right there.
I can't tell you. Oh, it's on.
It's on.
It's on now.
Now is it off?
No, it's on.
God, this thing. No.
I don't know.
Sorry, technical difficulties.
It's on.
Well, evidently it won't turn off. It's too bad because it makes a difference in the sound quality.
You sound fine right now.
Okay. We always like to start by reading Ma's own words of assurance and reading some things just to increase our faith from great, wonderful people who've met Ma. Okay, in Ma's own words, she says, I am ever with each one of you, wherever you happen to be, but your vision is tied down to worldly matters and you have little time to direct your eyes to this body and your thoughts and actions. What can I do? We always read this, but let's stop there for a minute. So what is Ma asking us? She says, to direct your eyes, she always refers to herself usually as this body, ye sharir, instead of I. She says, you have little time to direct your eyes to this body and your thoughts and actions. Let's just think about that for a minute. She's asking us what she needs, what she wants is us to direct our thoughts and actions, our eyes and our thoughts and actions towards her. That's a wonderful thing to think about throughout the day. Am I thinking about Ma? Am I living according to Ma's directions? Okay, so let's start over. A little commentary there. I am ever with each one of you, wherever you happen to be. But your vision is tied down to worldly matters and you have little time to direct your eyes to this body and your thoughts and actions. What can I do? But know it for certain that whatever you do in thought and deed, whether you are near or in distant lands, never escapes my loving attention. Just as at a flash of torchlight your faces gleam forth in their bold outlines, all your facial expressions appear in my mind when you meditate on me or talk about me or sit down to pray to me. I mean, Ma never spoke in these big egotistical ways like, I am this, I am that. She was so humble. But she spoke, she spoke very clearly what she was able to do. And in her infinite consciousness, the minute we think of her, she sees us. The fact that she said this when she was in her body doesn't make any difference. She, in her infinite consciousness, in whatever realm of light she's in now, she's aware of us immediately when we think of her. For this body, the question of accepting or declining anyone does not arise. At all times and under all circumstances, in inspiration and in dryness, this body remains and ever will remain with everyone. Amazing idea. The Atma, the true self of this body, is the Atma of all. It cannot be that anyone anywhere is not Ma's very own. It cannot be that anyone anywhere is not Ma's very own. She said she was the Vyakta Rupa, that means the embodied form of the aspiration of all mankind. She said our collective longing as humans brought the appearance of her body to earth. So in that way she belongs to every single person. She's our highest aspiration, our highest goal. That's why I say remembering her brings that back into our mind. It raises us up into our higher nature. Because as humans, we're just split. We have a great ability just to plummet downward into the depths of unconsciousness. But by remembering her, we rise to our full potential. Let's do a little more. I like this. He says, I'm especially in need of those who are unable to fend for themselves and have none to prop them up in their spiritual life. And then interesting, Ma says, I'm especially in need. She's in need of us. I do not wait for your spiritual readiness. Like the flowing river Ganga, I go on bestowing compassion on all. This is interesting. Whenever anyone does anything depending on this body, in other words, when we have her as our sharanam, as our refuge, if there is a chance of ill fate for that person, it is borne by and manifested within this body. That was so true when Ma was embodied in a physical form, that she had no karma of her own. She said many times this body was not a result of karma. So she had no karma, but she was frequently in bad health. And it's because she said she would take on these things from people that had taken refuge in her, and would have them in her own body. She would have different things to manifest, illnesses, and then she would do a yoga asana and release it, and she'd be back to perfect health again. This is my favorite. Anyone calling out for God and from any land, let me try it again. Anyone calling out for God from any land, in any language, and in any age, remember their cries reach this heart like waves crashing onto the shore. So Ma, even people who don't know of Ma's name, when anyone is serious, turning their heart towards God, towards realization, she's aware of that, and she's directing them. So I always like to read something from Ma's life, or people who met Ma and had different experiences of her. This is an interesting thing I stumbled on recently. It's by a Western devotee from California, where we are actually, and it was within the time I was also with Ma, because I was traveling with Ma in 1973 and 74. So I may have even met this person, but I find it interesting. Everyone has their own experience of Ma, very, very unique. There are certain things that manifest. I've checked with so many of Ma devotees that are common, in that you feel, meeting Ma, one felt an awe, but also a deep familiarity. It's like we knew Ma forever. It's like, oh, there she is. Like our soul recognized her. There are certain things that everyone kind of shared in common, but other things that were totally unique to each person. So this person had a very interesting experience of Ma. And her name was Rama Jyoti Vernon, and she was the president of the California Yoga Teachers Association, and lived in San Francisco. Interesting, where we are. There was a very wonderful saint who came to America among the influx of gurus in the 70s, named Sant Keshavadas. He was a great bhajan singer, and he lived in the Bay Area here for many years in the 70s and 80s. I think that he left his body in the 90s. We know some of his disciples, and he would take people to India, and he would frequently take them for darshan of Ma. So this lady went with him. This is her speaking, Rama Jyoti Vernon. In 1973, my husband and I were hosted on our first trip to India by Sant Keshavadas, known to his many followers as the spiritual nightingale of India. It was through Santji that we met many masters, including one of India's most revered in the female form, Sri Anandamayi Ma, the blissful mother mentioned in Yogananda's autobiography. I first felt the desire to see Anandamayi Ma in 1959 when reading Paramahansa Yogananda's autobiography of a yogi. Mataji, as she is endearingly called by throngs of Indian devotees, is considered to be a saint, a self-realized saint. And of course we think she's much more than that, but this is her speaking. Just what is a saint, we asked Sant Keshavadas. His quiet reply was simple, but nearly impossible. He said, a saint is one who is equal in all situations. A saint, as I later found out, is also one around whom many people experience extraordinary phenomena. In the West, a saint is usually dead before declared a saint. In the East, the saints are very much alive. So she talks about it was a rainy day, and she went to a Saptarishi ashram where Ma was staying at the time, north of Haridwar. I've been there many times. In India, before meeting a saint or sage, the custom dictates that one is be bathed and clean. We arrived at Saptarishi ashram with eager faces, but mud-spattered torsos and clay feet. The name was as entrancing as the grounds were beautiful. They were filled with fragrant roses and bougainvillea. A multi-tiered fountain stood majestically in the center of a tiled courtyard. In the back were attached buildings surrounded by large trees, shading the weary traveler from the sun as always. We were met at the gate by a soft-spoken Swami, uncommonly neat in his starched ochre robe. An English umbrella and shiny white spats were on his feet. As we crossed the threshold, dragging our footprints behind us, he graciously sent for water and towels. Sanchi explained our mission, asking if Mataji was there and if she would receive us. To protect her privacy, the Swami pretended not to know. When he was told that we had traveled 15,000 miles for this very moment, he scurried away, giving instructions for us to wash and to wait. When he returned, saying that she would receive us in private, I could not contain my joy. For years I had heard stories of the miraculous experiences of others. Although I had always pretended not to want such things, now my heart was pounding with expectation. We filed past a long line of devotees that had been waiting for days to catch a glimpse of this secluded mother. Their palms were pressed in the reverential greeting of Namaste. In passing, we returned the greeting. A mild feeling of unworthiness swept over me. I wanted to give my place to one of them, but it was too late. As we entered the second-story room, it was a shock to see the mother sitting erect and cross-legged on a small raised platform. She was dictating an article, probably an answer to her letter, on meditation to her secretary. I had expected her to be bubbling with joy and unable to function on the physical plane. Instead, she was calm and articulate. The impact of our shocks and surprises are only measured by the degree of our own expectations. I realized afterwards I'd expected to find her lying languorously on a sofa, Ramana Maharshi style, or slumped in a chair in a catatonic state of ecstasy, mumbling divine incantations. Which sometimes Ma was. I mean, I've seen Ma in many different bhavs. There were times when she was just endrawn, sitting absolutely still, like a still picture posted onto a video. She's just like perfectly still. Other times she would be, like I say, in the midst of things, directing people what to do, this and that. You know, she had many different manifestations of her divine consciousness. So she expected to find her, you know, just in a state of divine inebriation. Instead, she was sitting firmly upright with a towel wrapped around her head. She had just washed her hair and would dry it at intervals between dictation. Her attendant was in the same room behind a half-pulled curtain preparing her lunch was another surprise. I was bewildered. How could this be? I wondered. She's supposed to be blissed out, drunk on God. She's not supposed to have any desire for food, only God. How can she eat? Isn't that sacrilegious? How can she do such simple and mundane things like wash her own hair? But of course we know from an early age, from the 20s, Ma did not eat on her own. She, her consciousness was so devoid of any idea of self or self-preservation of the body that she, at one point she found that she couldn't just raise her hand to her mouth, bring food to her mouth to eat, because to do that it required at least the basic feeling of self-preservation. You have to eat, and that was just not there. So she said, I'm sorry, if you want this body to remain, you'll have to feed it like a child. So from the time when she was in her early 20s to the end of her life, when it was time to eat, I've witnessed it myself. Someone would come and feed her, and she would take a few bites, then she would turn away. She ate very little. Sometimes she would eat only every other day. So on one level, she wasn't like, you know, waiting for lunch or anything, but somebody was cooking her lunch, and somehow this seemed strange to this lady. So she continues. Excuse me. Usually you come to a saint with flowers and fruit and things, but they didn't have a chance to bring that. So she says, we had only a song to offer Ma. We chanted Sant's composition of Rama Krishna Hari. Her attendants were mildly amused at seeing Western men and women trying to adjust their tongues to the languages and their bottoms to the floor as they sat on the floor. At that time, Indians were surprised if we adopted their customs and their ways of dress, but we Westerners were surprised if they didn't adopt ours. Ma offered us prasad, and after eating in silence, Sanchi nudged me and said, sit closer to her. I was already near her feet, but I tried to scoot closer. Pressing my palms in the customary namaste, I bowed my head to the floor. Look into her eyes, Sanchi urged. I was caught in the grip of self-consciousness. I'll look and then move away quickly, I thought reluctantly. My greatest fear was that she would look back and see that even though my body was in a posture of humility, my heart and ego were not. She's very truthful. Mataji was always surrounded by thousands of followers. Those who spoke to me of her had always viewed her and been affected by her from a distance. Yet here I was, nearly touching the hem of her garment, and nothing was happening. Feelings of unworthiness were choking my cells, forcing them to contract so as to take up as little space as possible. My body was occupying a place that should belong to those who love and believe in her. Although my insistence had brought us here, now I wanted to be elsewhere or nowhere. Where else was there to go? Not wanting to be rude, I looked into her eyes. A strange translucent film slowly began spreading out over them. It was as if an invisible curtain of dewy haze was descending from the upper to the lower lids. Tears were forming, but they did not fall. Instead, one droplet merged into the next until her eyes were two gigantic teardrops. I was overwhelmed with sorrow and wanted to look away. Look into her eyes, Sun quietly commanded. I tried, but they were no longer her eyes. They were the eyes of human pain and suffering. They were the cries of the body writhing in the limitations of its own creation, the endless search for human love, freedom, pain, and the bondage of our attachments. They were the agony of the spirit crying out life after life in its earthly search for unity. We are all one, they seemed to say. Within them, she held no pity or sympathy for humanity's sufferings because she was one with it. She was the eternal mother, mourning the deaths of her children. She held the world in her eyes, and within them, I could see the reflection of my own sorrow so deep that I could not reach its depths. A wave of energy leapt from my chest into my throat, forming a knot of unleashed tears. The pain of lifetimes was unbearable. You will not know God, she seemed to say to me with her eyes, until you cry for him as the mother cries out for her lost child, and want him above all else. Her eyes glowed with the essence of unconditional love, love which has no limits, contracts, or expectation, that which exists for its own sake alone. Ma, I ached to cry, but could not, as I was choking on my own sorrow and feelings of self-pity. She was supposed to be joyful, not the sorrowful mother. Where was the joy? I tried to move and look away, but my gaze and limbs were paralyzed. Just then, the pupils of her eyes began rolling upward into their sockets. Mine could not help but follow hers. Her eyes were turning up into her head, and I was turning up with them. The knot in my throat loosened, and a jolt of energy moved from throat to head. The heaviness in my heart lightened. I was now looking at, rather than swimming in, the sea of planetary pains. Was it possible to look at one's own pain without feeling it, and feel another's as we would our own? She spoke without speaking. Pain comes from attachment and rejection. We create our own. It is the expectation of getting and the fear of losing. Instead of turbulence, her eyes were now still lakes, mirroring the joys of the infinite. She held in them the bliss of unitive consciousness, from which all things flow. First there had been an inkling of the symptom of pain, and now a glimpse of its source, which is beyond both pain and pleasure, and all polarities. It is just as it is. As I was about to take a deep breath and relax, her eyes suddenly became swirling magnetic vortices of energy. They were the universes, and I was standing on its edge, ready to drop in. Fear loomed up, stretching its tentacles over the openings of my mind. I tried to pass through, but could not. I was standing in my own way, crowding the doorway to self-awakening. She doesn't go on from there, but it says, Mataji did not teach. She was a clear crystal, reflecting one's own image. That's a very good insight. The clearer the being, the more penetrating the reflection. I was struck to the core. Whether standing on feet or head, fears all this little one's Whether standing on feet or head, fears, all the little ones such as failure, criticism, rejection, are all tied up to the ultimate fear, death. It was not the death of the body I feared when looking into the universe of her eyes, but the letting go of life, the annihilation of ego. Without speaking, she revealed to me that I did not have even the courage of an infant who ventures out for a first step, for that is based on faith. I did not have faith, for that is based on love. And I knew that all my practices of yoga until that moment had been done with an empty heart. Mataji's eyes continued rolling upward, moving into galaxies where I could not follow. As her lids closed, one could feel her journey into the infinite began. I sat before her vacant body, alone and yet not alone, remembering what Yogananda called her paradoxical isolation of omnipresence, unquote. Her attendant signaled that it was time to leave. We arose, knowing that it was not the end to the journey, but an endless beginning. At the door, I turned back for one last look. Her form was erect and motionless, immersed in radiance. No end spoke of personal experiences, but in the sunlight of the courtyard. Okay, no one spoke of the personal experiences in our group, but in the sunlight of the courtyard, our embraces of each other were overflowing with the joy of self-giving. I do not even remember the muddy walk back to our waiting cars, but I do remember glancing back at the temple towers of the ashram of the seven sages, filled with the knowledge that Sri Anandamayi Ma carries within her heart the saintly love and immersion in God consciousness tempered by the discriminative wisdom of a sage. It's pretty interesting, isn't it? And everyone had their own experience, and it is true. We've talked about it before, how this great saint Gopinath Kaviraj, who was considered the greatest pundit in India at the time, was an avid devotee of Ma for decades and decades. And he once made the observation that when we visit different saints, they can be at different levels of holiness and different levels of illumination. And he said many of them are filled with sattva guna. That's the guna, the attribute of nature of light and peace and health and warmth. And they're filled with sattva guna, and they impart that to a person, and so a person feels very uplifted by their presence. But he said, in his depth of knowledge about Ma and his perception of Ma, he said, Ma is triguna pita. That means beyond the three gunas. So he said, when you come to Ma, it can be a dangerous thing because it will bring everything out from inside of you. Like this poor lady just saw, all her yoga practice was done with what she called a dead heart. But hopefully what it was for is because Ma brought things out that could then help us, to go forward. She once said, when you come to this body, beware. If you have any snakes living in your breast, they'll come out. I'll bring them out. But she said, you can't leave these snakes in your breast because they'll bite you from within. So Ma did bring people to the extinction of the ego. It was a slow process. But I thought this was a very interesting experience with Ma. Interesting. I want to read one quick thing here. Let's just read some of Ma's advice for us before we go on. She says, this is kind of Ma's way. She had such a natural way where she wanted to bring out what was real in us, and that reality coming out would throw out what was false in us. She says, by mere effort, attachment cannot be given up. We can't just fight it and say, no, I'm going to push this away. By mere effort, attachment cannot be given up. Only by strengthening the longing to find God, all other yearning will fade away. Bliss and peace are the aim of everyone, for these are in fact present deep within everyone and cannot be relinquished. Only that which in any case has to fall away is to be given up. So her definition of renunciation is so positive. She says, you don't push things away, you try to cling as much as you can with both hands to God and to our spiritual practice, and that which has to fall away will fall away. The more one advances toward the divine, the less prominent are the actions that cause anguish and distress. Remember this. Worldly undertakings do give temporary happiness, but with agonizing sorrow sneaking behind like a shadow. Become a pilgrim on the path to self-realization to find peace and the source of peace. Nice. Okay, so we'll go on to our next reading, but before that, let's I always like Ma gives darshan now through her photos, And I don't have a photo show now because I couldn't find a correct photo viewer for this computer, but I do have a video, which is a wonderful video. A man from France came to Ma back in the early 60s, I think, maybe even late 50s, named Arnaud Dujardin. And he became a lifelong devotee of Ma. When I was touring in Europe, we tried to visit his ashram one time, and we talked to him on the phone, but he wasn't there to receive us. He was a videographer, a filmmaker, and he made a beautiful film called Ashrams, which gives his experience with Swami Shivananda of Rishikesh and Swami Ramdas and Mataji Krishnabai of Kerala, and then one of Ma. And it's kind of a bad quality, but let's watch his video on Ma. And they it has a French narrative, a narrative in French, so we'll block that, and I'll just sing something in the meantime. But we can watch Ma moving around, which is very nice. Let me share. Let's see. I have to share the screen. Okay, let's see if we can do this. What is this? Ay, ay, ay. Okay. Jaya Jaya Ma, 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 Jaya Jaya Ma. I realize I haven't put on the oh no, I have this. I have the sound on. Ya Jaya Ma, Jaya Jaya Ma, Purna Brahma Narayani Ma, Purna Brahma Narayani Ma, Purna Brahma Narayani Ma. Purna Brahma Narayani Ma, Purna Satya Swarupini Ma, Purna Satya Swarupini Ma, Purna Satya Swarupini Ma, Purna Satya Swarupini Ma, Dayamayi Ma, Karunamayi Ma, Dayamayi The man right there, that's Gopinath Kaviraj, who I was just speaking about, the greatest pundit of India, and is sang in his own right, and he really, really loved Ma so much. We saw earlier devotees would ask permission to dress Ma up. You know, they would dress her up with the flowers and the crown. She never wanted any of this, but she would tolerate it. You know, out of love for her devotees, they wanted to dress her up. There was one scene earlier where Didi and Udas were walking with Ma, and Ma was looking like really, really drawn. And they said the night of her birthday, that was from on Ma's birthday celebration. Ma would simply just lay down and go into this deep samadhi, and all night they would do this puja, and all these things would go on, and she would be immersed in this God-conscious samadhi. In the morning, when they would rouse her, she would just be still almost barely in her body. That's what was happening when they were kind of almost carrying her out. And see, Ma just looks into eternity. Her eyes are always just gazing into the infinite consciousness. Okay, so it's nice to see Mom moving around, isn't it? I met many of those people in the we just saw many of Ma's attendants and Didi, and I didn't get a chance to meet Didi Ma, her mother. She was considered a great, wonderful saint, and she passed away in 1970, and I first came in 1973. So let's go on now to a reading from Pragya. Pragya, if you could briefly tell about your book for people who haven't been here before, and have a reading from her.
Certainly. Jai Ma, everyone. So good to see you. I'll be reading from, this is the second volume of the Gospel according to Anandamayi Ma. And as many of you know, this represents 48 question and answer sessions with Ma during the last 20 years of her life. And they've brought me so much joy in all the years that I was editing them. And now also we have them as such a beautiful, reminder of Ma's teachings. We'll be reading from tape number 80, which is Ma's birthday, a different birthday from the, thank you, first of all, Mangalanandaji, showing that film and singing through it. That was just heavenly. I could do that again right now. So thank you. That was so, I felt so present with Ma, the combination of your singing and the videos. It was just wonderful. So this is another birthday. This is Kankal in May 1978, so much later. And so this is 4 years before Ma left her body. And we're just going to read a couple of pages from Ma's question and answer sessions. Ma, here is another question. We come here from far off places with only the desire to be closer to you, to be at your feet. All the time we have a desire to touch you and to talk to you, but we are unable to do that due to our bad karmas in the past. This makes us depressed. Is it all right to be depressed? Ma, is there any way to cure it? Shri Ma, God has arranged it like this. After all, it is only his play, you know. He is playing all of the time in infinite forms and emotions. If anyone wishes anything from his heart, God will fulfill whatever he desires. This body does not understand why one should desire to meet or touch this body. She does not want to say anything about that. But here is the thing. If someone desires anything from his heart, his desire is fulfilled by God. If you fail in your attempt, just think that you have not reached the state where your wishes are carried out by him. Do not be depressed or distressed. Just leave everything to him. Try to keep yourself happy in the very state where you are. One thing more. When people have any important thing in their mind, they write letters or come to this body through someone. You too can have an appointment with this body if you want to talk to her about something. You can even write to her that you want to talk to her in private and ask her to give you some time. So have faith in him and make a wish from your heart. He will certainly fulfill your desire. Question. Someone has asked this question in Bengali. He says, Ma, you always say that one will hear as they play. But what about those who do not know how to play the instrument or do not even know how to hold it? What is their fate? Shri Ma, there is this thing. Sentences like this come from the very heart of this body on their own. The first thing to be known in this connection is, where does this word that is pronounced come from? When you speak, you hear your own words, and even others hear them. What is that yantra, that instrument that is so struck? Where does it come from? We must say that the source of all this is that Shabda Brahman, transcendental sound, Akshara Brahman, God as sacred syllable, Akhanda Dvani, unstruck sound, and the spiritual vibration which is going on in this universe all the time, incessantly. Yes, the source of all this is that Shabda Brahman, Akshara Brahman, Akhanda Dvani, and the spiritual vibration that is going on in this universe all the time, incessantly. This body is explaining this briefly. She does not want to go into details. When we speak, what do? With this speech, we come into contact with that Akhanda Dvani. We strike that invisible spiritual string of the instrument, the self. This kriya, this action performed with lips, the tongue, and the cavity of the mouth makes the invisible Akhanda Dvani, the unstruck sound, visible and explicit. Only then are we able to hear it with our ears. The Akhanda Dvani, the unstruck sound, which is immortal and going on incessantly, can be heard only by yogis. It is never manifested to anybody else. This Shabda Brahman, Akshara Brahman, or Shabda, is there in everyone in the form of prana, the breath of life. Prana also has its own sound. All kriyas, or actions, are accompanied by Shabda, sound. That prana is always going on incessantly in everyone. That is the Akhanda Dvani that is made audible by the process of pronunciation. It is very difficult to understand where this Shabda or Akshara comes from, and as such, this body is leaving that subject. So when this body says that one will hear as he plays, she is talking about striking the instrument that lies in everyone. This Mahadvani, the great sound, Brahman, also has indefinite forms and expressions. That is why it is said, this Mahadvani is Ananta, infinite. It is imperishable in its origin. Only the forms of the words are perishable. When this body strikes her instrument, you hear it, and when you strike yours, this body hears it. This is all nothing but contact with the Akhanda Dvani, the unstruck sound. This body, whenever it speaks, contacts that Mahadvani and expresses it in a simple way. It does not care while speaking whom to tell what. It goes on speaking on its own. It is for you to decode it and grasp as much as you can. It has been the same with this body from the very beginning. As you strike, so the words are produced from this body. That is why the same subject is explained in different ways at different times. It all depends upon how a person strikes this instrument through his own words. That is what it means when this body says, you will hear as you strike. Shall the conversation end now? Are you able to understand? Swami Nirmalananda, there is one difficulty, Ma. In the case when someone strikes you wrong, you will sound wrong. Everybody laughs. Shri Ma, here is the thing. One who is going on the path of God will never strike wrong. One strikes according to the state he is in, and so there's nothing wrong at any time. He will get a favorable answer, and it will never be wrong. Even if one strikes wrong at any time, he will get the answer that is useful to him, and it will never be wrong for him. Questioner, and if someone does not know how to play? The Swami says, you will get the answer to that question right now. Yes, Ma, you have answered the first question. Now the second one, if somebody does not know how to play? Shri Ma, is that the question now? What should one do if he does not know how to play the instrument? Is that all? Swamiji, yes, Ma. Shri Ma, if he wants to know what to do, this body would say that he must attend Satsang. Swamiji, here is the answer. He must attend Satsang. Shri Ma, when he keeps on hearing others playing, he will know the way. Jai Ma.
Wow, that is a profound, esoteric teaching. Really have to talk about first. Let me know your thoughts.
Well, I mean, even in the middle of the reading, I'm sort of wishing I could stop and say, what do you all think she's saying here? But the idea that, and she talks about this throughout these 2 volumes, that the unstruck sound is always there. It exists forever, eternally. And then when we speak, we're sort of calling forth something that's almost formless and calling it, into the present moment. And when Ma speaks, of course, it's all just divine truth. And so depending on the question we ask, she says when her great being hears the sounds of our question, spontaneously, these words come forth from the depth of being. And it's just so amazing. And then she says, you can't ask a wrong question. It can't go wrong. Anyway, you're right. It's something that we go line by line and try to decipher it together. But what struck you, Mangalanandaji?
Yeah, let's open this up for discussion because it's amazing. Yeah, what you say is exactly right. A couple of things struck me. First of all, I think she explains it in another place too, because she was always saying this body is just an instrument. How you play it is what you were here. And here she really answers that question, that this anahatta shabda, this unstruck sound, this sound which is deep in the inner recesses of the universe, which she says only yogis hear, only people who have purified their heart and mind and are able to calm their mind and go into the depths of consciousness hear it. But what she says is we vocalize it, we make it audible by just our speech. So in other words, when we just say hello, 1, 2, 3, testing, what we're doing is we're what she says in that our articulation and our vocal cords, it's not just our voice, it's literally what makes that sound is that unstruck sound comes out of us. Any sound, if we just go like that, we're letting it have a portal for that unstruck sound to manifest. So it's the only sound really sounding through every sound. It's amazing to think about. And then it's true. So then when we ask Ma a question, like she said many times, there's no mind here. There was literally, we have this conscious mind, subconscious mind, all these samskaras, all this depth of weird, unsorted consciousness within us. She was just one pure divine consciousness. So there was no conscious mind. There was only pure awareness. So then when somebody asked Ma a question, it would just go directly and struck that anahatta shabda and the correct answer would come out. So it is what just like you just said, Pragya, Ma's words are just divine truth at all times. It's amazing. And that's why in the different religious traditions, they have great reverence for their scriptures. So whether it's like in a synagogue, they'll bring out the Torah, with great ceremony. In a Christian church, I'm thinking of the Eastern Orthodox Church, they'll bring out the book of the Gospels, gold, with great ceremony, and people, bow. The Sikh tradition, they bring the Guru Granth Sahib, they carry it in a golden throne and carry it out. really, Ma's words are no less than this. In fact, maybe more than this. So we should have, we have a book of Ma, like your book that you're holding in your hand. We should just have the greatest adoration for it, because Ma could not speak falsely. She could not speak superficially. That's why even here, when people ask her superficial questions, she'll laugh and go back and forth with them. But then what comes out is these profound truths, because she was the perfect channel for that unstruck sound to vibrate and sound in reality and truth. Another thing that struck me was she said, we don't hear that sound, but that sound manifests as prana. Isn't that interesting?
Yes,
So the prana.
yeah.
Yeah,
She
isn't that
says,
interesting?
yeah, she says that this Shabda Brahman, Akshara Brahman, or Shabda, is there in everyone in the form of prana. Prana has its own sound. All kriyas or actions are accompanied by sound. That prana is always going on incessantly in everyone. That is the akanda dvani that is made audible by the process of pronunciation. So there's this connection between prana and our speech.
Yeah,
She's
I never
talking.
thought of it before. That's really interesting, isn't it? But she says
Yeah.
actually that this unstruck sound is manifesting as prana. So it shows the sound is the root of everything. And even, if people don't know prana, the prana means just the life force. It's the life force that makes us breathe, makes us have respiration. It's the life force that makes our heart beat, makes our blood flow, makes the metabolism run in the body. It's the thing that allows us to move through the world and think. It's the thing that prana is what makes the sap run in the trees. Prana is what's directing the birds when they fly south for the winter. Prana is the life force pulsing through the universe, which is life itself. So it's interesting, and that is based on sound. That manifestation as prana is based on this unstruck sound. That's interesting. I never made that connection before.
Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to say for those of you, it looked like Lonnie was looking in the book for the page number. I was reading page 2. Yeah, you found it. 262 to 264. Yeah,
In volume 2,
volume 2. Hmm.
really interesting reading. Let's see, there was something else too that struck me. This is why in the yogic tradition of Sanatana Dharma, which we're working in, we meditate on sound. There's many things to meditate on. People meditate on yantras, do tradika, that means gazing at a certain thing, gazing at a candle. People do different pranayamas with the breath. And these are all valid forms of meditation, but the deepest and most traditional is meditation on sound. Because as the mind becomes more concentrated and becomes more drawn inwardly, it becomes more refined and more subtle, and we start experiencing more and more subtle parts of our being. Sight disappears, so you can't be looking at something. Prana, movement of prana disappears, and as you go deeper into consciousness. But sound always takes you, because sound is, as she so clearly showed us today, sound is coming from the deepest source within. So all the mantras that we have are the most pure expressions of this unstruck sound. And because like when you say Om, or even like Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namo Narayanaya, Om Ma, any of the mantras we use, this is the perfect expression of that pure consciousness coming out through sound. We can just talk, and we can, we as humans speak all day, usually saying worthless things, but even that's an expression of this unstruck sound coming out. But when we say the pure sounds, when we chant, when we enunciate these mantras, that's a perfect source for that pure sound to come out. And we meditate on mantras because they're sounding always in this deep space that Ma's talking about. So when we link our mind, first we link our sound and our breath to a mantra, then we link our mind to it. By its very nature, it takes us through the veil to the source of the self. That's why we meditate on sound. Beautiful. Well, should we, do you have anything else to say? You want to open it
Well,
up?
I have to say, for anybody who has this book, reading on from here, Ma goes even more deeply. Just let me read this one line.
Yeah,
The questioner says, Ma, we are all puppets. You are making us dance to your tune. You are playing us all. Who will dare to play you? And Ma laughs, and everybody laughs with her. Then Ma says, Baba, look, here is the thing. This is all Mano Raja in the kingdom of the mind. Right in the capital of this kingdom, the puppet dance is continuously going on in one form or another. And everyone laughs with Ma at the thought that they're the puppets. Her, and then she says, let's see, wait a second, in one form or another. Then Swamiji says, but now it is you playing us. And people laugh even more. And Ma says, yes, you means Bhagavan, God. God plays his own instrument by himself. He alone plays and he alone hears. I mean, it just goes on like that. So,
Yeah, amazing. Yeah. And like one of the diaries of a devotee of Ma, uh, who wrote this book, his exact 10 volumes. So we have, he would write down what Ma said. He would write 2 or 3 pages of what Ma said. And then at the end he would write, now these are the words that Ma said, but there's no way to convey the way it was told. Ma, the sweetness of Ma's voice, the look on her face, the joy in her being. You can't portray that. So we're reading these wonderful words that you've captured from the tapes so beautifully and faithfully. But it is true. It's nice to hear the tape too, because it's just interlaced with so much joy, and people are laughing with Ma, and Ma's laughing and giving these profound truths, but in such a light and acceptable way. It's beautiful to experience. I mean, I've been at satsangs with Ma, and it's just absolutely charming and wonderful. We want to open up for sharing. In our sharing, of course, we always try to stay on subject and talk about Ma, what Ma means to us and whatever. But Lord, first of all, let's kind of think of this subject because it's so profound. This unstruck sound coming up and manifesting is everything. Does anyone have any either questions or insights or thoughts about this reading we just had? It's very profound. Surely somebody, come on. Think about it. Think how profound it is. What does it mean to you? I mean, who can understand it really? It's so deep and profound, but we can at least maybe intellectualize it a little bit and try to explain it.
The last sense that a person has before they pass away, the last sense is sound and is hearing. In other words, if you're around a person that's in an active phase of dying, you really need to be careful what you say, because even though they're not seeing, tasting, sound is the very last sense to go before a person passes away.
That's a good observation. Yeah, it is, Arpita. That's why it's considered when people are dying, they'll chant the Bhagavad Gita, they'll take do kirtan and things like that. Like my friend Shraddha, who you may have known, Arpita. I don't remember.
Yeah.
Did you know Shraddha?
Actually, I never did meet her. No, I never met her.
Well,
I heard so much, when we were at the ashram there in Oklahoma, we heard about her a lot. So yeah, I never met her. No.
She would visit occasionally. I knew her for like 30 years. And she and her husband, Ma gave them the names Shraddha and Satya.
Yeah.
And Satya passed away from cancer. He was being kept in hospice at home. And on the last day, when he kind of fell out of bed, he was sitting on the floor in this daze, and she realized this is the time he's leaving. So they had Ma given them the same mantra. So she sat next to him. First, she put some prasad in his mouth, and he was looking at a picture of Ma. And then she sat next to him and said their mantra in his ear. And he passed away like that. That's like you say, the last thing was the sound. He heard the sound of that divine mantra that Ma had given him. So yeah, that's a good point. The sound is the last to leave. Anyone else have any thoughts or any questions about this? Because Steve, please.
Yeah, I just have a little story to share also on sound that I found interesting. One time I was at a convention center and it was very loud and packed, and there were a lot of people, and I was looking for I saw a table with it looked like a whole bunch of mortar and pesters of just different sizes. But then as I got closer, I saw that that was not it. And somebody came to talk to me and he's like, "Oh, are you interested in singing bowls?" And at this point, I had no idea what a singing bowl was. But I remember he just picked up one and he started playing it there in the middle of the convention center and talk about like power of sound. I went somewhere else for several moments and then kind of came back. And that taught me like, wow, that there's levels to this and different things. So, and I just found it, yeah, it's very interesting how the unstruck sound, like that moment in between that or that moment before everything that she talks about and how she even Ma was saying like the yogis can actually hear that. So it's kind of again something else like we could hear it with enough practice or everything there, but yeah, it's very powerful. So that was my powerful sound moment with singing bowls that I thought were mortar and pesters. That was very interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Steve, for sharing that. It's true. Yeah, they have those bowls where you just rub the lid, the rim like this, and they start to vibrate and make a sound. Yeah. Again, that is a perfect medium for that unstruck sound coming. And you see, it's like you experience, sound can take you deeply in an instant. That's why we meditate on mantras. Yeah. Yeah, the singing bowls are kind of cool. Yeah. People do gong meditations too, where they just do these different gongs. And it puts you in a very interesting state. Yeah, interesting. Huh. Yeah, anybody else have anything to share?
I'll just
Any
add a
questions?
quick little
Yes,
thing.
Cecily.
Um, it's it well, it's almost overwhelming. I don't even know how to talk about it, but these readings were just incredible tonight. Um, I the prana is very interesting to me because it made me, well, for a couple of reasons. One is, it seems like these bodies that we all come into, right? That we all have our unique sound, our unique um, offering to the world. And so I kind of looked at it like that. And also, I remember at one point when I think it was Swami Nirgunananda, when we listened to him, Prajna, in Pennsylvania, he was talking about mantra, but the mantra is, although it could be the same mantra, say Om Namah Shivaya, when it is said by each of us as individuals, it has its own fingerprint. It is unique to that person. And he spoke about how the mantra is it is a self-initiation when you're given the mantra, because it becomes something that comes from you and from your own being. And so these readings are just, all of this is swirling around. So I really loved it. Thank you so much, all of you.
Yeah, thank you for that sharing too. That's interesting. What Swami Nirgunananda said, that even though we may say the same mantra, it has a personal imprint, you say, like a personal fingerprint. Interesting. And we do, those of you who, I think we all work with mantras in some way. And this too, the mantra you work with becomes very, very dear to you. It becomes almost like your best friend. And that's interesting. Say that again, so what do you say? Okay, we each have our own way of saying it. Say that
Well,
again.
he was talking about mantra initiation, and he was talking about Ma, right? That Ma, it initiation didn't come to mom, it came from ma. And he was almost help me with this, Pragnya. I'm touching on it, aren't I? Right? And he was saying that there is some, almost describing what ma's trying to describe, that there is this uniqueness in the striking of the sound that is each of us, and that it is our own unique initiation when we start saying the mantra, that it's unique to anybody else, because it's our voice, it's our vibration, it's our prana that is giving life to the mantra. And I mean, Swami Nirgunananda is pretty intense. It's pretty deep, and there was a lot to it. I'm probably only scratching the surface. Go ahead,
No, Pragya, do you have a?
I wish I could say more, but I do remember that what you're describing, and I do remember kind of being surprised, but it makes sense that our karmas and our everything would be sort of a piece of how we would come to the mantra. But yeah, that's all I remember. But thank you so much for jogging my memory. Maybe I'll go back to my notes.
Another way of thinking of it is through the mantra we find our own sound, because this sound is manifesting as everything. We are then a little note in that sound. We each have our own distinct individual note within that sound, because there is ultimate unity of the self, but we are distinct rays. Each person is so individual, and Ma once said, if one person somehow mysteriously disappears from the universe would collapse, because every little piece is dependent on the other little piece. So we are different notes in that beautiful eternal melody that's being played by God. And we, throughout, I think through the mantra, through that sound, we go inward and we find our own unique sound within that mantra. Interesting. This is an interesting conversation from such a deep reading. Swami Nirgunananda is very intense. He was Ma's secretary the last, maybe 10 years of her life, one of Ma's secretaries, and he eventually took sannyas, he's a brahmachari, and he lived in the Dolchina ashram for years. Dolchina is way on near the Nepalese border, way up in the Himalayas. I mean, from the ashram you can look at just the white peaks of the Himalayas. Amazing place. And he lived there alone for many years, just doing his sadhana. I first met him there when I was visiting Dolchina, and he he looked around and he said, in the early years, because they've revamped the ashram a little bit and done some building and cleared it out some. He said in the early years there was just a very small hermitage here where Ma stayed when she was on her way to Kailash, and I was the only one here, and there were just wild animals and the Himalayas. And he looked around and he said, now it's become a very tame place. But then we would see him every year at the Samya Sapta in Bhimpur, Gujarat, when we would go from our ashram in Madhya Pradesh to there, and he would always be one of the speakers. And he would always have a private class with just the English-speaking people in English, because everything else was in Hindi at the time. So he's quite a character. He comes to America occasionally also. He's very old now. Anyone else have anything to share? I'd love to hear. We have a new person visiting. If you'd be not shy and interested in sharing how Ma touched you, how you came to Ma, I'd love to hear if you want to.
Are you thinking of Sue?
I think it was Sue, wasn't it?
Yes, I am new to this experience.
Would you feel comfortable sharing?
That's okay. I don't know. And I realized I live in Little River, just south of Mendocino. I said NorCal, just keeping it basic. But I am my dear beloved soul brother Matthew Wynn is who kind of connected me up with Ma, because he's a lover of Yogananda, and he gifted me a book of hers, and I've just been enjoying learning about her. I'm not somebody who has had a guru or anybody that I've solely connected with. My true place is nature, is my chapel, so to say, or my space of worship, so to say. But I'm very attracted to what seems like just the purity of her essence, and how what's the word? Reverent and resonant in the essence of consciousness and unity consciousness that she seemed to carry. And so I'm just more curious and appreciate how accessible it seems just to hear about her and learn about her. So.
Well, that's such a beautiful sharing. Thank you, Sue. Is Matthew the one who's going on the?
Yeah.
So her friend, dear friend Matthew, is one of the people going on the pilgrimage with Ramani to India. Oh, that's so nice that you're here.
Yeah.
Great.
He mentioned it to me, and I was like, well, I would check it out. And I was in the midst of doing stuff, and I almost was going to do that thing where take myself off screen and keep doing stuff. I was like, no, this is a sit and stop and take in. I don't need to be a Westerner 100% of the time.
Well, it's great to have you.
Coming down and those different perspectives. And being somebody that lives near the ocean and is a lover of the ocean, the thing that came to mind is just like the miracle of the whales and the animals in the ocean, and that sound is their number one sense. And the fact that they can make a sound that can be heard thousands of miles away by another animal, and they communicate through liquid like that. So that's what came to mind to me in that moment. So
Interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, yeah. Dolphins and whales live by
yeah,
sonar. Yeah, I've
yeah,
heard. I love scuba diving. On diving in Hawaii, we didn't see the whales, but we heard them speaking with each other through the water.
yeah, it's pretty
Love
magical.
the Mendocino area too. That's a great area. Uh,
Yeah,
it is true. You mentioned Ma expressed that wonderful divine unity, and that is true. That's kind of her main attribute. If you could think, she was like the embodiment of divine unity. From she so many other masters, and we don't say one's higher than another. They're all different manifestations, but Ma was unique in this manifestation of unity. Like other masters, even like the Buddha and Jesus Christ and different saints, they had a moment after intense meditation where they had this realization experience. Ma simply opened her eyes at birth, and that was it. She was in one state of consciousness her entire life of perfect unity, and that was so wonderful. And what's so needed today, she brought unity wherever she went. When she would visit people, there would be endless arguments of theology and stuff, and by her presence people would find unity among that. She would bring unity between different religious outlooks and different spiritual sects and things, and her presence alone brought people together, and that's what's so needed in the world today.
yeah, most
She
definitely.
was
Very
like
accessible. That's what I
yeah,
appreciate. Yeah.
very accessible too. Like at one point in the beginning of this reading, my said, "If you want to talk to me, just call me and I'll come for a private." And that was really true. In the years I was traveling with Ma, she was always accessible for what we called a private. I had several sessions with her where I felt I wanted to clarify something in my practice, or just talk to her in person. And you just had to send word, and she would say, "Okay, very busy, but maybe on next Wednesday at 8 o'clock come." And you come, and she would sit with. At the time, I didn't know Hindi or Bengali, so I'd have to have a translator. So just be the person there. I'd be sitting in front of Ma, and they would go back and forth like this through a translator. But she was always immediately ready to talk, and you could access her, even though so many people were around her. She was very accessible, and everyone could tune into her. That's what we all love too. That there would be 100 people sitting in front of her in the evening, and each person was feeling like Ma was giving her full attention to them. It was like flowing to each person individually if you tuned in. So yeah, Ma is very accessible to this day. You can tune into her, and also the fact that there's no conflict if someone has another guru or teacher. Most people didn't have Ma as an actual guru. She was just like the Divine Mother to them. So no matter what the teaching was, no matter what the guru was, there was no conflict. Ma was just like, it all came under Ma's teaching and under Ma's protection, under her Sharanam. So yeah, that's a wonderful thing too about Ma, universality. Yeah, thank you, Sue, for sharing that. And we'll see Matthew. I'll be there in India also on this trip a little bit later. I'll meet Matthew. Um, Anybody else? Matthew may have been the one. Did he email me? Did we go back and forth with a few letters? I think we did. Remember?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, I think
He's excited about
he
it.
contacted me. We've gone back and forth a few times with emails too. So it'll be nice to meet him next
Yeah,
time.
he's a beautiful soul.
Good. I look forward to seeing him. Good. Anybody else have anything to share? We'd love to. We have time. We could talk a little more. Surely there's some more thoughts about
Go
this
ahead,
reading.
Bonnie.
Um, okay, two things really. Going back to the idea of the mantra, um, could it be that when the guru or whoever um, initiates you with a mantra, not they're not really giving you the mantra from themselves, but bringing the mantra out of you from some deeper place? Could that be the case
Well, let me
there?
answer that first. If you have another question, we'll go into that too. That is exactly right. That's a very deep observation of yours, that you've seen that. When you get mantra initiation, the guru awakens the mantra in you. Now he or she will impart from God the power they have, but it is true. It's all, they awaken the mantra within you, which is already in you. And a lot of times there'll be a mantra that you've used in previous lives, or there's a mantra that is kind of your core essence, and they'll be able to see it, and they'll give you that mantra. And Yeah, so that's very true. And just like it was said in the someone said mentioned earlier that Ma didn't receive diksha from anybody. She when she went through this period where she was supposed to be letting this process happen in her of as she was just watching it of all the spiritual stages we all go through. There was one point where she needed to get diksha, and the guru came out from inside of her, sat in front of her as this principle of guru, gave her the mantra, and she absorbed it back into herself. So everything was inward. But that's Lonnie, that's a very good observation. The guru awakens the mantra within each person. Did you have something else too?
Uh, I guess we're. I'm still kind of stuck on the from the reading the whole idea of prana having a sound to it, and I don't know. I'm just wondering if that has anything to do with, first of all, either the mantra that you are initiated with, or if it is just that unstruck sound that it's not just dead silence, but that that thing that I can't put into words right now, but it's like all sound together, but in silence. That you know what I'm trying to say, but
Yeah. It's what Maya always says. It is and it is not. It can be and it cannot be. She says in that place, if we're not talking about a place, in that level of consciousness, she said everything is there. Nothing is left out. It can be described. We say Purnamada Purnamidam. It's total fullness. It's also called Shunyam, total emptiness. It's light and darkness both. And in one sense, it's not contradictory at all. It's just everything exists there. So we think of it as silence. It's called divine silence, but also all sounds are within it. So it's something that the mind, in its simplicity, can't comprehend at all. It's a level of reality that so transcends the mind that we can't comprehend it. But it is true what you're saying. The sound is there, but it's also silence. Like there was a song, was it Simon and Garfunkel? The sound of silence. Silence is a sound.
Yeah.
But it's true. Prana has a sound. That's very interesting. Also, I know. What makes me think of there is a type of yoga meditation where they say the sound of the inner breath is so, and the sound of the outer breath is hum, and there's just many repeats so hum so on the inner breath, hum on the outer breath, so hum so
hum.
They say that's the sound of the breath. The breath is a manifestation of prana. I know from doing many years of breath meditation, the mantra with the breath. When you meditate on the breath and concentrate on it, you begin to experience deeper levels of it. And you find that what makes us breathe is actually just this real fine stream that goes inward. And there's also one that goes outward. But it has a sound. I wouldn't even call it a sound. It has a feeling which you could manifest as a sound. I mean, that's my only experience of it. But it's true. She said prana has a sound. So yeah, I think as we internalize our mind and refine our awareness, we'll eventually hear it. Hear what it is. I know the disciples of Paramahansa Yogananda in Self-Realization Fellowship, they have a thing called the Om technique, where they even have a thing where they rest their arms on and they do this thing where they close all the senses and they have a way of trying to hear the eternal Om. And I'm sure it works at certain times. Now, these are all different methods. Does that answer your question, Lonnie?
Yes, wonderful. Thank you.
Does anyone else?
Pragya, did you want to add something? And then Arpita.
Oh, thanks. When Lonnie was talking, the word potential came out from within. The idea of this unstruck sound has the potential for everything.
Yes. That's interesting. Yes. Good point.
Arpita.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned this before where one of my teachers, Ajahn Sumedha, he works a lot with the sound of silence. And I'm relating this piece to that. It's just different ways of expressing the same thing. And so if you do a retreat with him, you'll be listening to the sound of silence. And that sounds kind of odd, but if first of all, the container of being in a silent retreat is very, very powerful, especially with 100 people, which is about what certain retreat centers hold, or even less. It's just a very powerful thing to be in that container of silence. And then when you are, you can actually tune into, if you will, that sound of silence, especially during a meditation, so that when you're focusing your attention on the breath and or the mantra, you're opening up your awareness to be cognizant or aware of that sound that, and I forgot the Sanskrit term that she uses.
Shabda.
Okay, yeah, okay. So you become aware of that sound, and from that sound, everything emerges. Like that's the original form. Out of the formlessness is that shabda, that sound, and everything emerges from that. And when you're in that space, it's not just an intellectual rocking, but rather it's an experiential process that happens in that container of a silent retreat, with the proper guidance from somebody that can lead you to that or with that. So that's just been my experience that I would like to share.
Yes, thank you, Arpita. Yeah, I have a great regard for Ajahn Sumedho and that whole Theravada Thai lineage. It's really, really wonderful. Yeah, it's true. When you observe silence, especially with a group, like you say, we waste a lot of prana talking all day. And when you keep that prana in, it's true. It becomes the mind becomes very internalized. The great saint, the great sage Ramana Maharshi said he would mostly sit in silence, and people would just sit in front of him and have these experiences. He said, "Silence is the language of the soul." Isn't that beautiful? Silence is the language of the soul. Yeah, nice.
It's very healing. It's very, very healing. Silence is very healing, and it's also very clarifying, so that we hear sounds all day, and we're so bombarded with the sounds of our thoughts. Our thoughts have sound, right?
Yeah.
Like our feelings and our emotions have sound. And so when you're in that silence, a lot of clarity can emerge.
Yes, very much so. Yes.
Yeah.
And interesting, it is true that that original sound is the beginning of everything. Even Saint John, the apostle of Jesus Christ, who was a rishi in his own right, he opened the Gospel of Saint John saying, "In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God, and everything came from that." I one time, Swami Bhaskaranaji, who was Ma's main Swami, who you knew, of course, had me initiated in a Gayatri mantra at one point when he came to visit me. We came to visit our ashram in India, and he had me initiated in a Gayatri mantra and started, because I have some scar for that, and he added that to my sadhana along with the mantra Ma gave me. And I once asked him some things about Gayatri, because he'd done a lot of Gayatri sadhana, a lot of it. And he said, the Gayatri mantra is a source of creation. He said at the beginning, when it's just endless consciousness, just Brahman, without attribute, with no second. He said when creation is supposed to manifest, first there's that rumble of the pranava, of Om. And he said from Om, the Gayatri mantra comes out. And then all the other mantras come out and all creation goes back. So you go back through the mantras, through the Gayatri, through Om, back to the source of silence, but from the sound. Yeah, interesting. Sounds very esoteric. This is an esoteric conversation, I think.
Bill has his hand.
Bill, please.
Thanks. And I apologize for coming in late. I got messed up on the time. But I understand this conversation is about various techniques for experiencing silence and primordial.
Did you hear the reading, Bill? Were you here in time for the reading?
No, I missed it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
But I just wanted to add, I'm a student of the Himalayan tradition, and Pandit Rajmani Tiganayat is my teacher, and he has been teaching us what he calls Vishoka meditation, which is from the Yoga Sutra 136 and 334, where it's called meditation on the lotus of the heart. And in its advanced practice, well, at its basic practice, we're essentially meditating on the pranic field at Agya Chakra, which is a field of silence and light, Jyotishmati. And then in its advanced stages, we're actually meditating on pranava, or the sound of Om, as it appears to us. So it's a very peaceful, quiet, deep experience, as others have been describing. It's a lovely practice.
Beautiful. Thank you, Bill. It is true. All these wonderful practices, God leads each one of us into the exact one we need, and they're all wonderful and effective, and we'll be led into the one that we need, as I see you have. That's really beautiful. And that's why, again, Ma brought unity. It's so beautiful to see the unity behind all these practices and all the different world religions. There's so many similarities, so much unity in that. And it's so much better to concentrate on that rather than on the slight diversity here and there on the surface, to really see the unity behind it all. But also just find one that works for us. Let God show us the way, the one specifically that we need. Yeah. Anyone else? Okay. Well, let's see. Pragya, I want to give it to you if you have some announcements about what the work you're doing there. But also, we will be meeting in India soon. Ramani is taking this group to our ashram, our Ma Sharanam ashram in central India in January, early January or mid-January, for a retreat with our Swami Guru Sharananda, who runs the ashram there. And I think there may still be room. I don't know if people are interested. Contact Pragya. I'll be there too. I'll be going to India in January and February. And we are working on having our in-person Samyan Sapta. We can't make a real announcement about it now because we're still working on the details of time and place and everything. But hopefully we'll have our meeting in person next year, probably in November. We'll see. Pragya, do you have any announcements you want to talk about? You're still muted. We can't hear you.
Unmute, Pragya.
You? Jema, just that our next satsang is on Sunday, January 4th, and it's both on Zoom and in person. We have some lovely kirtan singers and musicians coming for that satsang, and then a potluck afterwards. So, but we'd love to see all of you on Zoom from wherever you live. And yeah, it's our 4 to 6 time, this time on the first Sunday in the new year.
Yeah, good. Yeah, it's our first Sunday Pragya doing. The third Sunday we're doing it together. If you look at our website, anandamayimaashram.com, is that correct? Anandamayimaashram.com. You'll see all the different things, all different offerings that Pragya is making up there with that, and things we're doing together. And we just realized, hopefully, we'll see. This is far in the future, and God knows what's going to happen before then. But next May, I may be up there. We could celebrate Ma's birthday together there also. But I'm sure we'll do it on Zoom too. So a lot of things happening, and guess that's it, right, Pragya? Okay. So thank all of you for joining us today. We're here every third Sunday, and Pragya's there every first Sunday at the same time. And just keep remembering Ma. As you remember, when we think of Ma, our hearts are uplifted, our mind is purified. We go further towards the realization of our own true self too. So if you want to put on Galley and unmute, you can say goodbye. We're always happy to see everyone.
Blessings.
Jai Ma, everyone.
Jai Ma.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Ma.
And
Hey,
Mangalananda,
Ma. Thank you.
Thank you. Don't forget to stay on Mangalananda because we're having that little meeting.
Exactly. Yes. Okay.
Blessings.
Jay-Ma, happy holidays, everybody.
Yes.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Amen.
Happy holidays, everyone. Pragya, I'll go ahead and close this to end the recording. Then I'll boot it up again. Okay. I'll
Okay.
open it
Okay,
up.
perfect. Okay, Jay Ma, everyone. Good to see you,
Good night,
Mr.
everyone.
Tiku.
Thank you.
Bye, Edward. Nice to have you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
I somehow got things messed up on the screen, so I can't close the meeting. Oh no.
Damn it.